So I'm a recovering Jesus addict. And by Jesus addict, I obviously mean pure and innocent virgin. And when I say I'm in recovery, it means that all of my Christian friends now think that I'm a dirty whore. It all started when I was little. I mean, isn't that the root of all of our problems, daddy issues? So my father shoved religion down my throat, mainly to keep me from shoving other things down my throat. I really felt like his sole purpose in life was to keep me from getting laid. He told me that if I had sex, he would be able to tell because I would lose that special sparkle in my eye. Now, I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. So when I went to church and sat in Sunday school, I would stare at the church girls and look into their eyes, and then I would compare them to the school sluts. And the only thing that I noticed was that the sluts were way hotter than the church girls. Now, it was really important to make Daddy happy, so I had to do everything possible to keep my sparkle. Now, according to what I understood from church, sex meant penile penetration. So I was perfectly justified dry humping my high school boyfriend in his mother's 1990 Buick. It didn't matter that at the end of every date, I would unbuckle my seatbelt and hop on over to the driver's side and align the crotch of my jeans with the bulging crotch of his jeans and just grind away until I had an orgasm because Jesus didn't consider this sex and I could still keep my sparkle. But then my dad told me that I shouldn't even be listening to music above 120 beats per minute, otherwise I might become sexually excited. Shit, I thought I was gonna lose my sparkle just dancing the Macarena at prom. And then he taught me about birth control and said, the only thing you need is an aspirin. Stick it between your legs and don't let it drop. Well, clearly I was misinformed about the birds and the bees. But ironically, my aunt, for my 3rd birthday, got me this book called How Babies Are Made. I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen this book, but just by the diagram, at a very young age, I knew all about my ovaries and my fallopian tubes and my uterus and my vagina. And I also learned from this diagram that it takes a penis to make a baby. And if you can't see in the back, this dog has a huge raging erection, by the way. Well, I thought, what better way to practice making a baby than with Barbie and Ken? So after giving Barbie a proper Catholic wedding so she could keep her sparkle, I tried to get her and Ken to conceive. But it didn't work because their genitals looked nothing like the diagrams in the book. So I needed to figure out how this penis worked. So when I'd go to the mall, I would play with the crotches on all the male mannequins, but they didn't have penises either. Plus I had to stop that whole charade because one time I accidentally almost grabbed the junk on a real man. Luckily though, in high school I had this job shadowing assignment at the hospital, and I finally got to see some penises, but they belonged to really old men with prostate cancer. And the problem was that I go into the operating room, and there's this old man splayed on the table, and he's getting his dick lasered with this big metal tube jammed in his pee hole. I felt like I had walked onto some Star Wars porno flick scene. So I had a problem because I'm getting ready to graduate from high school, and I still don't know my way around a penis. Well, I figured I'd remedy the situation by applying to West Point. Because what better place to learn about the male anatomy than at a military academy? I mean, that place is just one giant sausage fest. I mean, the phallic imagery all over the place with cannons, and their most famous monument, Battle Monument, is essentially just a giant shaft. They ought to just change the name to Penis Point. So I'm at West Point getting ready for my special education, and then I come to find out that there's this rule that if a guy is in my room, I'm not allowed to shut my bedroom door. What? I guess West Point only condones gay sex. So I graduate from West Point, young Army lieutenant, still don't know my way around a penis, and wouldn't you know, Bush declares war on Iraq. Well, how am I supposed to learn about penises now? Is this some kind of conspiracy? Did my father order up the war just so I couldn't get laid? Well, ironically, when you're on the battlefield and you're surrounded by men pumped with testosterone, it makes you crave the cock like never before. And as I saw my life in combat potentially flash before my eyes, just as Jesus told President Bush to invade Iraq, Jesus told me that I could finally have sex. Amen.